meeting, August 4th, 2014, order. Roll call, please.
Neil.
Here.
Joe.
Here.
Ralph.
Here.
Bill. Kathy. Here. Mary Jane. Here.
Everyone's had a chance to read over the minutes. I need a motion to accept, please.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Neil.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Bill. Mary Jane. Yes. Ralph.
Yes.
Kathy. Yes.
Any motion to approve the warrant and payroll timesheets, please?
So moved.
Is there a second? Roll call, please.
Mary Jane. Yes. Kathy. Yes. Bill. Ralph.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Neil.
Yes. Need a motion to approve the transfer of police revenue from the general fund to the police fund, please?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane. Yes. Kathy. Yes. Ralph.
Yes.
Bill. Joe.
Yes.
Neil.
Yes.
Need a motion to approve police fund monthly operating fund transfer, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kathy. Yes. Bill.
Yes.
Mary Jane. Yes. Joe.
Yes.
Neil. Ralph.
Yes. Need a motion to approve the interest transfer, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Neil.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Mary Jane. Yes. Kathy. Yes.
Susan will not be here tonight, but I did talk with Susan today. Tell you the information that she told me. Give the council to think about this as we continue, and then we'll come back to it. On the old school, Susan called me today and said there have been some changes at the state under the park portion of the state funding that allows a certain amount of money for demolition. The amount of money that can be requested for Preble County is $33,200. Now, that is a 75-25 match if we so choose to apply for that money. In other words, it's going to cost us roughly $8,000 to get the $28,000 towards demolition of the school. Now, she also said that next year, for 2016, if there is a federal funding out there that we could apply for, that is a $150,000 grant, but it's a 50-50, so you would receive $75,000 of that money. But between the two, the $28,000 and the $75,000, she thinks the building can be taken down. She thinks it can come down roughly around $100,000. Now, we had several conversations about other possibilities today. One was bring some salvagers in that would give us a bid about taking stuff out, the wiring, the flooring, and all that. That's all a possibility, which we can, she says she'd be more than willing to put some bids out there for people to come in and take bids on that, and we can either take the bids or leave room for denial and not take any of the bids or whatever. I do have a name of a contractor that's got a grinder that we could possibly bring in and get a quote from them. I'm just sharing this information with council tonight. One thing about this grant, that if we choose to, or if council chooses to apply for it, we will have to have a special meeting this month, and she will bring a resolution down because it has to be turned in by September 1st. Now, stipulation, this whole process is it has to be declared a park by the village from now on. It cannot be used for any other thing other than a park in the future. In other words, the village can't sell it, can't do anything with it. It's a park. Now, we can use the buildings, we can use stuff like that for village purposes, but once it's declared a park, that's what it is.
So you have to do the center, because that would be part of the park, but you couldn't.
That's
You
a,
have businesses
that's a
going
question
up
I did not ask about the center, but
I'm
I'm just
assuming
saying,
it's,
it has to be declared a park, and that's the only thing that can ever be used sealed, but if council chooses to apply for this, then we would need to have a special meeting here in a week or so and do the resolution and get it turned in by September.
Has your committee reported anything as far as ideas about it there?
No, I'm sorry, I haven't had a meeting, I've been personally too busy. We need to get that done. I've been contacted by the chamber, and I've called, they want Shane Van Zandt to go inside and look at the electric, about the possibility of running the electric out to the Apple Fest in a different manner than what they do. I talked with Mr. Van Zandt today. I told him to contact me or the chief or Billy to be led into the building up there to see what he thinks. Other than that, we've had no committee put together up there to get any kind of an idea of what we want to do. And we have done some cleanup up there.
Yeah.
The chief and I think Neil and I know Billy, I think went through the bus barn up there. It's still structurally sound. It needs doors and a little bit of roof on it, a little bit of roof work done on that one corner. I would ask council to think about what they'd like to do with that building. If we're going to keep the building and use it for storage for the village up there, we ought to consider either painting or putting metal on the outside of the building and put new doors up so it can be used.
And we need to check the electricity over also.
Yeah, and that's something council also needs to be thinking about. Neil, if you'd like to, I did not tour the bus barn. You can go ahead and you guys can accept.
No, you pretty well said it right there. The doors themselves, the wooden overhead doors, the tracks and everything are in good shape, but the doors themselves are rotten and gone. So you're talking about putting up 4 doors. We have 2 sliding doors that are wooden doors that are still operable pretty good, you know. And then like the chief, we had him look at the electrical, so that'd be a matter of putting the box in, right, and changing the mast, so forth, and
The electric now goes to the school.
Right.
The entrance off of the school to feed the barn, or we just have to take that down and run it straight from the pole to the barn and put all these there, so.
to me, that makes sense to keep it and use it for storage. We're jammed up down here. It'd be nice to be able to open up and especially get to certain equipment that needs to be used. For an instance, when we had a water main break and it was midnight and the water board, they had to pay the individuals that fixed the water main break over $200 for a generator to run lights when we got one sitting right here in the barn. Why? You know? All I do is pull it out, fire it up, and we've got the lights and everything else. That's what we built it for. So I had Billy pull it out, we fired it up, it fires right up. I had him move it up to there for now, so it'd be easy access to it if we did it again. So to me, it makes sense to do just that.
I have a question. If we have to declare the whole property a park, can we use it for storage?
Yeah, I asked Susan that question today. She said, yeah, that wouldn't be an issue.
Would they still let the Apple Fest be up there, or?
I don't know why they would not.
Oh, yeah,
It's
I would
park.
think that would be,
It's a park.
yes, a public park, so I would think that would be fine.
I mean, that's a,
Well,
you
they
can hold
touch
it,
you about
you
some
can
of that
hold a
stuff.
community activity if you hold it at the
Yeah.
park. I don't see where there's a
Yeah.
issue.
We couldn't put a
In my mind,
community
there's no
building up
issue.
there either?
Pardon me?
Could we put a community building up there?
In a park, you could have a community building.
I would think so.
You know,
I
that's
would think so, but
that's questions that's well thought of, but I don't have the answer to them. I assume that would not be an issue, but for me to sit here and tell you that I know the answer to that, I do not. This is a short conversation about 2 o'clock this afternoon with Susan, saying that she just found out about this and was relaying it to us to see if we was interested in it. And I asked her, I said, well, if we apply for this $28,000 this year, and if we get it, can we hold on to it until we apply for the next, try for the next money,
Yes.
where we have a combination of putting all that money to work, or would we have to do something immediately with that $28,000? And she thought that we would be able to hold on to it, to try and combine it with the other.
And then the actual demolition would take place, not this year, but next year.
Well, there's no guarantee that we would get the other
Right,
$5
we'd
million.
have to wait until we found
There's no
out.
guarantee, there's no crystal ball there. I'm just,
If we didn't get the extra 100, then would we just do what we could? Would we be obligated to do something. with
At
that.
some point in time, I'm assuming we would be obligated to do something with that $28,000 now. What that something is would be decisions from county, I would imagine that you could probably take down the elementary part of the 28,000. I don't know,
Well,
I'm just
we
guessing.
need to know if, before we can really make a decision, if we're locked into calling it a park, if we don't get both of them, because if we just get the one, maybe we're not gonna spend the extra 90.
If you want to apply for these grants, it's got to be declared a park from now on.
So if we get the first grant, we can't reject it and turn it down.
We got to pass a resolution declaring it a park before we apply. Now,
So
if
if
you don't
we don't get it-
if you don't get the money, I guess you could
We would know.
rescind that resolution.
Yeah, that's,
But if you declare if you do the resolution to declare it a park and you get the money, it is then a park from now on.
Are we not wanting to tear the whole school down?
We do, or we soon, I don't know.
We've toured the building and it needs to come down.
The whole thing?
The gym's questionable, but we've had no one in here to give us an economical decision on the roof and stuff as to see whether it's actually economical feasible to keep it or not. The majority of the rest of the building, in my opinion, and I think the chief would agree with me that it needs to come down.
I think so too.
It's in bad shape on the inside, and the odor and stuff that's in there, I don't know that you could ever get it cleared out of there. Now, I think there's a lot of salvageable stuff in there. That if we could call some people in, that the council wants to get some people in here and get some bids, and then we know what we're talking about, we can call them in. And, they'll pay for the stuff they take out. Now, I don't know if there's outfits that will come in and take it out and then take the building down. I don't know, there's a big outfit out of Dayton, I think it's Roush. Construction, they're a big demolition place in Dayton that does that. But that's what the council chooses to do.
To me, I think that'd be the smart way to go, because you got those old wood floors in there, you got a lot of electrical, the old boiler is still there, and,
Oh, they want.
to me, I think it would make some money.
There's 6 new furnaces in there.
I know that.
That was never used for that last year. that we,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
There's more than 6.
To me-
Well, I mean, that was all I counted at the time, because we had our youth groups up there.
To me, that would make more sense than anything, to have to come in and take out and make
I
money
think
off
so
of it
too,
first.
yes,
And then use that money for,
yes,
Whatever.
to help
to help tear it down.
meet
and
our
rebuild it.
share of whatever we do get, yes.
So be
As
thinking
long
about
as-
that, and we'll come back to this before the meeting's over as to whether in fact council chooses to move in the direction of applying for this grant. If so, then we'll have to have a special meeting in the next week, in 10 days, and get this taken care of so Susan can move forward with it. So we'll come back to that and think about it.
You need to worry about the gas tanks.
I'm sorry?
You need to worry about the gas tanks north end of the bus building, the underground gas tanks.
I don't know that there's underground
I
gas
thought they
tanks
took
there.
those out years
As far as I
ago.
know, they're still there. I could be wrong, but I don't think it'd be taken out.
I don't know.
You need to consider that in the budget or have someone check that out.
You can check that out at the high school. They've got all that information out there. I got information from that on the asbestos.
Because this 3B property starting to head up.
It's going to anyway, I don't care how you look at it, but we might as well get our money out of it too. And that'd be salvageable, would make sense to me, to take that money and use it for
You could always put an amphitheater up there and sell the bricks, all that good stuff. Just follow the regular.
as long as we don't run into a deal where they did like down in Campbellstown and it sits there for 20 years.
Yeah.
This is something that needs to happen and happen.
Oh, yeah.
When it goes, it's gone.
They did the same thing over at Boston when Buckley bought that one.
That's right, so,
It's still sitting there, and
that's right. So that's what we need to do, is make up our mind exactly which route we want to go. I think give the city to take this care of, get procedures moving ahead.
We'll go through the rest of the committees and we'll come back to this for further discussion once everyone can sit here and have a chance to ponder any other questions that might take place. Safety, chief?
The police department handled 103 calls for service in July. 7 reports, made 3 of us, issued 3 citations, 6 warnings. That's all I got.
Thank you, chief. Building?
We already discussed the building, that's what I was decide on where we're gonna go with this Cherry Street project and like that, and then see how far it's gonna take us up the road, see what we're gonna do. Ralph, have you done anything with the, up on Cherry Street?
I have a petition here in my hand that has several residents sign it, in regards to the three-way traffic stop sign that we proposed, or was in discussion about last meeting, that, I can get more signatures or some already on there if you want to see those. I'm also going to meet with the township and the county engineer to see if maybe we can get them to work with us to get some kind of a warning system or reduction in speed limit or whatever at the top of that Gettysburg Hill, maybe coincide with this, or to help with it, or do what they may have suggestions. Most of those signatures there are the ones that would be affected by it that live east of Lincoln, that would have to stop and go for their own personal residence, more so than the ones that would be affected by the stop sign already at Spring Street.
On the petition, are people in favor of it?
They are in favor.
Is
There's
there
a couple of
anybody
comments
against
on
it?
there that said that they wish that something had been done 20 years ago.
Did you run into any opposition on any of the neighbors?
None at all. I did talk to Mr. Tushlaw about the school buses. He had no problem with it, said it wouldn't affect them in any way.
All right, then, any discussion, further discussion on this?
I think that, they're pretty well spoken on what they wanna try to do.
Would you like to present that as a motion, Ralph?
Yes, I would.
Well, we usually have an ordinance or a resolution wrote up to do that.
I'm thinking, did we do that on the one out on Westland? Okay. I
They
don't
need
remember.
to have a resolution, not that she's probably right.
We have in some, like up on Brewery Street years ago, they
When
did.
you place that stop sign out there.
Yeah, two or three of them, two of them, I think.
Well, we're gonna have a special meeting, won't we?
Well, that's yet to be decided, so,
Okay.
okay, and then in that case, then let's, Ralph, let's get a resolution together and bring it to the next meeting, and so we can present it and start the process. Okay, that's what the neighborhood chooses to be done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lights?
The only one I know that's out is across the street from the red front there at the corner of Washington Walnut. I want to get a hold of the contractor.
Yeah, one up there by Sunoco too, it's out,
By the Sunoco? Okay. Thank you.
because I seen it out this morning.
I know this one right out here to the village building has been working just part-time. Sometimes they go by, it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
Finance?
Didn't have anything.
Okay. Sanitation, Mary Jane?
I sent out some letters, and I have some more about ready to go out, and run into a problem with one of the properties. And I contacted the attorney, but he hasn't returned my call. And I'm going to call tomorrow and set up an appointment, hopefully by Wednesday or whatever, to get this problem straightened out that I've run into. I won't say at the time what it is. I
Okay.
need some information first.
I've got something, Mary Jane, I think we need to address. I know that it's come to my attention from several people within the community that Rumpke no longer will pick up their bags of trash. They're telling them now that they're no longer going to honor that. To me, I think that's I think it's stupid. I mean, you have some of these other people in town, some of the elderly stuff, that have one small bag of trash, you know? And I think that they still honor it and continue to pick it up. I think it'd be good for our town, myself, and taking care of, why would they have to buy a big order for
I
one
know.
little tiny small bag of trash?
Well, that way they can charge you that $14 a month for that dumpster. Plus the
Do you
fee.
want me to call them, or?
Yeah, and ask them about it. Say, hey,
what about this? The thing I can think of is they're going to an automated truck.
They are.
They are, and that's what
Is
they're
that what
trying to
you
get away
guys do?
from.
Yeah, I mean, there's, if you don't, then the driver has to get it, instead of just picking it up and moving on, he's gotta get out physically, pick up that bag.
Well, you know, they had the guys who used to do the route in town. I specifically did it for new fares. He was done every day by 12, 1 o'clock anyway. And he got up and just did it, went on down the road. It was no big deal. Now, these guys come by, they take the automatic thing, they flip it in there, they can pick up certain items and do whatever, you know? They're going, wait a minute here.
See, now they're the only show in town, and you
I know.
don't see how you're
Well,
gonna twist their arm to do anything.
I know that too.
Unless we try to
I know
go
that
back to contracting again with a couple other companies.
They bought
Waste
them out.
management.
They bought them out.
Who?
Waste Management's not bought out, but Best Buy, they bought them out.
There's
Yeah.
nobody left.
Well, PC.
They're gone.
PC's.
I mean, they are gone, I know, I'm saying they bought out
Yes.
PC.
So they do have the
So-
monopoly on it.
If you can't, if they're not gonna let the people put bags out, what are you gonna do with
I
it?
don't know.
You could revisit the fact that we had discussed a few years ago that, we do it ourselves. And there was opposition from some of the folks about that issue over the $5 additional fee that was going to be involved, administration fee that was going to be involved with it, which was still cheaper than what they were paying at that time, and is a whole lot cheaper than what they're paying now, they'll probably raise their rates.
Well, but they still got one truck running around yet picking up trash by hand.
Well, they send 2 trucks around.
Yeah.
They send 2 trucks around. They send one go down to get the recycles, then they send another truck.
Oh, is that what they done?
Then they
Yes.
send a truck around to pick up your regular trash.
I've been watching them up in our area, and they throw both of them right in the same truck.
Yeah.
I know they do. I know.
I seen them do
Now, I've
that.
not seen them do that, I have watched.
Well, They did
get
it
the
up in our
recycling
area.
different one.
I don't know,
I
but
have.
I'll call them
I
and
have,
talk
I've
to
seen them do
them.
that up on Shady Lane, I've seen
And
it.
there is another, I want to bring something else up too. We have a lot of people that's starting to burn, like campfires, and the pollution here is getting really bad. It's up in our area, and I think we're going to have to come up with something to try to stop some of these. I know, I don't want to affect the campground, but there's a lot of residents that's doing it, and we can't breathe up there.
I believe there's enforcement by the fire department, if I'm not correct, Ralph, I think it can only be 4x4, 4x5.
Yeah, it's got a
or
big
Yeah.
sign, I don't know exactly what the diameter
But they're
specification
doing
is.
that, we have one bunch that's burning almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Well, if they're burning illegally within that confines of that space and it's wood material and that type of material, then there's no,
But the
They're not
people
bringing any
also
more.
have to call the fire department before they can do anything. But it's getting out of hand, there's
Well-
more and more people doing that, you can't breathe up around our house.
There again, like I say, maybe the concerned residents up there should call the fire department and send the chief up there to see what's going on. Because he has the authority to control that.
we'll have a meeting next Monday and I'll just bring it up at the fire department meeting, excuse me. Tell them, been complaints in your area. And the chief will love it.
It's our area, it's down on the corner of Wren and Washington Streets, the worst, and there's some other places too. It's just
Do we have something
with
that's
the
just, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
people that have lung problems and breathing problems, we can't even sit outside anymore because of the wood smoke, and I'm allergic to wood smoke.
Well, if you had a wood burning fireplace, you could do the same thing.
Yes, and they melt.
And I have both. I have a fire pit that I use personally at home in the backyard of the creek.
Well,
I
right
also
now,
have
yeah, in the
burning
summer,
fireplace,
but it's getting really bad. I mean, you can't go outside without smelling somebody burning something.
I've noticed more people burning trash.
Yeah,
I was sure to say,
That-
there's several
That,
people
we
that
do have an ordinance.
take advantage of a whole,
But
got a
nothing's
fire
gonna-
going, they're gonna throw trash in and walk fire.
nothing's gonna happen unless these people start calling the police and the fire department or whoever. Also, we went to I'm changing the subject. Bill and I went to that meeting with the county. Bill, you want to tell them what happened?
Yeah, we went to the Permanent Soil and Water meeting for the noxious weeds. was an informative meeting, but basically, what it boiled down to is the issue with property owners, either the township or the city, not taking care of their weeds. It's the property owner's responsibility to do that, and if not, they have contacted the prosecuting attorney, because there are revised codes. If we have an issue with somebody here in town that will not do it, we can do it ourselves and have it charged to them, or get hold of the attorney, they'll make them do it.
And what type of weed are we talking about? Do we know what the
Oh,
weed
here's
is?
a whole list.
Yeah, there's a whole list of them.
But who do we have that's qualified to make that determination? That's what my question is.
Somebody that knows their weeds, any case, you could basically tell it was, other than the people that were buying it, it was mostly farmers and.
You can call the agriculture
I
department.
guess what I'm leading up to, are they gonna come out if we call them?
They
and
said
look
they
at the
would.
Weeds, and because they're the ones that
To
can
determine,
determine what
yes,
it is.
yeah, they said they would.
And that, you're going back to that, and you're going back to these county ditches, running right through the center of town. And you tried that once before, and we wanted the village people to clean them up, and it didn't work.
Well, I remember you asking one of those guys if there was any grants for any of this for us, and they didn't, well, because
They
that's
didn't
not their
have a clue.
ballpark. Yeah, they didn't know.
There used to be through them, and, but the guy that took care of it retired. But there is also a problem of when we enforce this, in fact, the chief has taken people to court, a person to court, and all they did was made him pay a fine, right? And never made him fix anything or cut anything down, so we have a problem with the court system. You know, we could enforce this all we want to. If they're not gonna do their end, we're just blowing hot air.
There again, like I say, if the county's willing to come out, if we have that issue, and tell us where the issues are at, because I don't think we have anyone on staff that's qualified to do
Now, they do have,
determination.
yeah, they do have down there at the agricultural department, which is located there close to Kroger's, the Preble County Soil and Water Conservation. They said they would send somebody out if we requested it, or if anybody requested it.
Don't we already have an ordinance that you have to maintain your property and keep your lawn, your things
Yes.
mowed? Wouldn't that cover it, do you think? I mean, it won't cover ditches, I'm sure, and things like that.
Well, yeah,
But wouldn't that just, you're not allowed
it's
to have.
supposed to, but you know, when you go to the higher ups to try to get it in.
Well, I understand that we have that problem, but we've already got the law in the books that you're supposed to maintain your property and keep the weeds and all that down.
I think that some of these, I know you have to keep up your property, but in this case, there are some of these weeds that we don't know what they are, that would take somebody to identify them.
Yes.
There are some of them that are harmful, that are toxic.
Well, I'm sure.
And so that if we knew, again, if we knew what,
And
on the property, what they
the
were,
point being is-
that's a little different than just
Yeah.
cleaning home with
We
the
have
grass.
no one-
Sure, but
Right,
I
but yeah.
mean,
Point being, we have no one qualified to
Right.
drive around town and say, there it is, and there it is. So therefore, it's wonderful for them to have this meeting and tell us this.
Mhm, right,
Are they
exactly.
gonna come out with the ones that can pick these problems out and identify it?
Well, again,
It
they
falls
said
back
they
on
would,
them
but-
to identify it, not on us who are not
qualified.
qualified to make that decision. Now, we're all qualified to make a decision if your grass is too high.
Right.
But some of these weeds, like, may not be on a property owner, it may be, let's say, in a creek bed or wherever. We don't have anybody qualified to make those judgment calls. So it would fall back on Preble County. And they'll just, as they do everything else.
And some of those weeds have to be pulled, but you can cut them down and spray them and it won't kill them. They said even if there's a half inch of a root left, it'll grow back even bigger and more than it was before. It's mostly the farmer problem and out in the townships, but they're asking support that everybody tries to do what they can't do and enforce it. They even suggested getting goats to eat the weeds.
This is what we need.
I
We
said,
can keep them in the bus.
yeah. No, that's
All right,
in the
let's
village.
move on. Planning, I don't know of anything. BPA, Kevin?
Yes. I think all of you have a ordinance in front of you there. I think they passed that out. 2004-04.
Yes.
Well, we're at the EPA, we're trying to increase our revenue as best we can without doing any increase at this time. This ordinance was brought about when some businesses were trying to get restarted, and it was about giving a discount for high volume water usage. But over the years, nothing's really come of it, except maybe for 2 individuals actually, for the campground and Branch Park and Trailer Park. And we as a board would like for you to consider maybe rescinding this ordinance. It amounts to about $4,000 a year revenue that we lose just for these 2 places, for the discount they receive on their water.
So that's part water and part sewer funds.
You know, I don't know how it's entered into the computer. I don't know how it breaks it down.
Okay.
Apparently, this ordinance is just for the water,
Yes.
so that's what I'm after.
And that part too was originally good to expand, because we were looking at picking up the factories outside of town.
Right.
North of town, and for the individuals as you go out, when we were talking about doing the project, putting the water line out Guy Murray,
Right.
and going out that way, so that was some of this also.
Right.
And they were picking up the car wash and the laundromat at that time, trying to get that reestablished and going again. So this was an incentive for them to do so.
Right.
But, you know,
But that
It fell
paid
through.
in.
thanks to Rick for doing the good job that he has and doing it in his, he's picked up the slack for this community.
Right.
How's that affect his business?
Minimal. The only ones that come closest is the laundry, and it's very, very minimal amount there. Maybe Southern Comfort or the Home Boss or whatever it's called, but it's all minimal. But really, the big ones are Branch Lake and Natural Springs.
What does council choose to do in this matter on this ordinance?
So you want all to be the same?
Yeah.
Not, no discount.
no discount.
Yeah. And what did you say it would amount to, the savings or
Around $4,000.
a year?
Yeah. We're just trying
That's
to.
going to cover it? Do you think that's going to be enough without raising the rates?
I don't know, but.
I think
wanna
the
do it.
rates ought to be raised a little bit
Right.
because we need to get back to where we was
Right.
before.
Well, that's what we're getting
Yeah.
into too, is we're talking about the sewer rate that was lowered. Now, I think we should go the other way with it, bring it back in, because it's actually losing money, right?
Well, I don't think we're losing money, but we're not gaining any money. But,
But this is what happened way back before we got the new water plant, and they didn't have the money.
right.
They didn't raise it, but they would raise them a little bit at a time
Right.
instead of waiting until they're in trouble, and then, you know, like they did before.
Right.
But
But
why-
that's what we have in mind. We're just trying to cover all of our bases before we go to that step.
Well, if you can save this, say, $4,000, then you have a better idea of what kind of rate increase you need. And any other things that could be saved, and then
Come back,
for, you know, and look at a rate increase.
Right.
so we have to wait a year, or we don't have,
No,
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 oh,
no.
okay.
No, I just, we're doing the process right now. We're going to list what all of our major expenses are, what we've replaced within the last year, what do we have coming up in the next year, trying to get an idea of what kind of
What kind of
money
revenue
we
you
actually
need.
need.
Yes.
Before we just, make a rate
thing and then have to come back in
Right,
another year and say, oh, we didn't get enough. I mean, you need to be able to cover your costs.
right.
And when do we think we're going to be somewhere in a decision-making process on the amount of time?
I'm thinking sometime in September, by the end of September, we should have a pretty good idea.
But you want to do everything at one time, or you
No, I
need this
want-
done
I
now?
want to go ahead and do this now. Because
Okay, I make a motion that we rescind ordinance 2004-04, the ordinance to amend current water rates to create two discount qualifications for higher volume water users.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Now, for the roll call, are we going to have to redo an ordinance number to rescind this, or can we just vote to rescind this?
Vote to rescind this.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
We don't have to read in its entirety? Rescind it?
You should be read by.
She wrote my title. Anything else, Kevin?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have received communication from Morgana, the insurance lady representative for our insurance. And it says this, in order to change the renewal date to January 1st, which is what everybody has wanted to do, we would need to attach a form signed and sent back to me by October 15th. This says that the Village of New Paris accepts the changes in the renewal date and will accept the increase in rates in January instead of April. Expected trend for 2015 is about 10%, but is a bit too far in the future to know exactly what the increase may be. Since you are already on the calendar year for benefits, this would make administration so much simpler instead of having a budget mid-year. Kathy, this is what you've been striving for.
It is.
If there is no objection to this, I will sign it and send it back to them so that we will go to a January 1st instead of April.
And that affects employee benefits at all? Not at all? People needing, the big question was needing the deductibles or not needing the deductibles.
Well, that will, I would assume, would affect employees by 4
It
months.
will.
But this is
February, March, April
this is
1st.
what everybody was striving for to have.
It's
in
almost
place.
impossible to do a budget and be anywhere close and not be scrambling all year when you don't have things in place for her to send in her budget in January. There's always going to be something that comes up, something new, some surprise, whatever, that we have to scramble for. But the way it works now, she's changing things continuously, and it's very difficult for
And
her.
now you have the opportunity to change that if you so desire. Any other opinions on this matter?
That's what we all wanted to do, right?
Feel it would be best for you, for the whole system.
Yes.
All righty.
So don't we need that in an ordinance?
Yeah,
We do.
yes.
An ordinance?
A resolution, do we do our insurance by resolution in the first place? I think that we resolve to renew or to elect a new.
As of April 1st, yeah, we may
Yes.
need amend and say 2015, January 1.
Which is fine, yeah. But I think a resolution would work in this case to just change.
Just
the-
to
And
amend,
look at to that.
to amend
Or,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get that taken care of, and when does she have to have this back, Mike?
I think October.
Okay, all right.
You want that they did that?
Yeah, where's that amendment, just, yeah. And, yeah, I'll get that done.
All right, thank you.
I'll do the stop sign, we do the insurance
Okay.
thing.
Okay, we have a ordinance resolution here for the bridge replacement that is going to take place next year on Walnut Street, that we need to pass and sign and get back to the state. And basically what this states is that the state is taking care of 100% of the bridge thing, but they need this ordinance resolution passed.
This is the authority to do so.
Yes. Preliminary legislation consent, ordinance resolution 2014-20. The following is resolution 2014-20 enacted by the Village of New Paris of Preble County, Ohio, hereafter referred to as Local Public Agency, LPA, in the matter of the state described project. Section 1, project description. Whereas the LPA and state have identified the need for the described project, replacement of bridge number PRE Walnut 0005 SNFN 6842356, which carries Walnut Street over an unnamed tributary stream in the Village of New Paris. Now therefore be ordained by the Village of New Paris of Preble County, Ohio. Section 2, consent statement. Being in public interest, the LPA gives consent to Director of Transportation to complete the above described project. Section 3, cooperation statement. The LPA state shall cooperate with the Director of the Transportation in the above described project as follows. ODOT shall assume and bear 100% of the necessary cost of the above described project in the event that the village requests certain features or, there's a word I cannot pronounce. What was that?
I don't know, but it means it.
Appurtenances?
Purchases? Yes, thank you.
There you go.
I never would have got that one. Be included within the project when its features and purposes are determined by the state and federal highway administrations to be not necessary for the state project. The village shall contribute 100% of the cost of those items. What the Lord? Administration. Utilities and right-of-way statement. The village agrees that all right-of-way required for the described project will be acquired and or made available in accordance with the current state and federal regulations. The LPA also understands the right-of-way cost includes eligible utility costs. The LPA agrees that utility accommodations, relocations, and reimbursements will complete with the current provision of 23 CFR 645 and ODOT Utility Manual. Section 5, maintenance. Upon completion of the project and unless otherwise agreed, the village shall provide adequate routine maintenance of the project in accordance with the applicable state and federal laws, including but not limited to Title 23 USC Section 116, to provide ample financial provisions as necessary for the routine maintenance of said project. 3, maintain the right-of-way, keeping it free of obstruction. And 4, hold said right-of-way in violation of the public highway procedure. So I would need a motion to,
We hear the part about the 100%
Yeah.
village is responsible. I'm
I backed
assuming
up
that
on
would
that
be any
too.
signs or markers or,
ODOT, it says ODOT shall assume and bear 100% of the necessary costs for the above described project. in the event that the village requests certain features.
Okay.
So if we would.
You want a fancy
if we-
bridge.
If we do anything other than what they do, then it's up to us for 100%. So, having said that, I need a motion to accept ordinance resolution 2014-20, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Joe,
Yes.
Ian,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Bill, Mary Jane.
Yes.
I would need a motion to accept this as emergency and forgo the 3 reading rule, please.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Neil,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Bill, Ralph,
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Kathy.
New business, I don't have a whole lot. Let's go back up to the school. What's the opinion of everybody here on this grant?
I think we need to go for it. I doubt Susan's probably checked into everything that she can. There's not very many grants out there anymore for demolition.
And this one, I think we could afford, we could come up with $8,000 someplace. And if all we can do is take that old elementary part down, that's something. That's
Not like you
something.
say, though, we take this and combine it with the other.
If we
And once
get,
we get the process going, you know, Susan, we're helping us out on that. We may pick it up. She's pretty good on this stuff.
the only question I have about that is if you are supposed to contribute 50% of the funds and you get $100,000 from this federal grant, aren't you going to have to show that you put $100,000 in there somewhere? Or if you only get 50, aren't you going to have to show you put 50 in there somewhere? I agree that she says that she thought 100 and whatever.
Whatever the amount of money that you get, it's going to be a 50-50 process. Yeah, but this you're going to apply for till 2015.
And it's
And
not,
you won't
yeah.
know until 2016 where you got it.
Okay.
But I still think that in the meantime, I think we ought to work with Susan and maybe look into doing this salvage part of it.
Oh, I
Having it
agree.
come in
I agree 100%.
And having her look at this and set it up so that these people know that when they come in and do this, it has to be done in a certain way and it has to be done by a certain date. You know, and not later on for
I have no argument with that.
Man, I think, to me, I think that's a smart thing to do, is to sell the stuff out of there and even make our money, because, you know, there's a lot of people out there salvaging those old wood floors, the chalk boards, all that
There's a
kind
lot
of
of
stuff.
old
There's a
store
lot of
walls,
stuff that
everything.
can be taken up and salvaged.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be smart for us to sell that stuff off, and take that money and use it for use that for the school and park.
Is there any concerns about declaring this a park area from now on, from anyone?
I don't, I think that's originally what we had in mind, and I think that's the way it should
That's
stay.
what a lot of the people want, that place for our park. But
I
I like,
agree, but I have to
Well,
ask.
and I do think if we try to do anything else up there and still hold title to that land, it would just be an administrative problem, probably, that we don't need.
Then we will need, we will set up a special meeting. What does everybody prefer? Susan said she would do the resolution and bring it to us once we tell her. to go
when she
ahead.
needed that.
She's got to have it filed before September 1st, so let's not put her off till the end of the month. So we need what?
Whatever's best for you guys.
How many days
Oh,
will you on emergency? 3 days?
I won't be here
To
the
notify emergency,
15th or
right?
the 16th.
Yeah.
No, actually, we gotta have 24
24
hours.
hours.
24 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about,
I won't be here the 15th or 16th, but you can do it without me.
well, why don't we do it? If Susan can get it done this week, why don't we shoot for, the Monday, the 11th, before the BPA meeting? Gina's already gonna be here.
Okay, I think I got to be here that day.
Gina's already in the building for that night, and let's just move,
Okay.
let's move our meeting up till, what time is the BPA meeting?
Okay.
Let's let's move can everybody make a 4:30 meeting on Monday?
Yeah.
Let's go for
Can you, Bill?
Let's go for 4:30, a special meeting, August the 11th.
Isn't there something else we want to look at, maybe talk about that? Or not? I'm just thinking, if you're going to advertise a special meeting, you'll need to know what was the other thing we said was like.
Three-way stop sign.
Yes, the stop sign.
Yeah.
If the ordinance can be done
Address that.
before then, we can address that.
Yeah, I
also.
did that. Yeah, I've done all that.
Then we can address that also.
Okay.
Now,
You gotta specify, since you're making this a special meeting, that those are the only two things that can be
Yes.
addressed.
Yes.
okay, so we're going to address the,
Declare the school property as a park and the three-way stop sign.
Right.
Okay.
all right. Now, is there any additional thoughts on whether we want to take bids on the bus barn? Would you like Neil to chase bids on that, on the doors and the metal and stuff on that? What's council's decision on that?
I would like to see what it costs, yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
we can't make a decision until we know that, so yes.
Okay, we'll get that done. All righty. We are going to go into executive session.
Before you do that, do we have an amendment to the appropriations that needs to go through tonight?
Yeah, there's 2014, 21. I think it's underneath the Steve here, up here by your water box. I think it's underneath that envelope. Keep going. Underneath there. There you go. There it is.
Okay, I'm sorry. Resolution 2014-21, be it resolved by the council of New Paris, Preble County, Ohio, a resolution of approval to realign the permanent appropriation resolution by modifying the following appropriations from one account to the other within the fund. And this is just what we do for Jamie to make everything work.
I would thought that this was already into effect, because Jane used to do this every year, she did it every December.
Yeah, you do it anytime you want.
I think this is the
It's
third
just
time
to
we've done
amend
this in the last
appropriations.
few months.
It is.
It's to amend appropriations within the fund, is what it is.
But I'm just saying that I believe Jane used to just do it.
Didn't they tell you?
But I think she
to
used to
do
just
that
do it
yes.
all.
They told me to do
In
it
December.
more often.
Okay.
The county auditor requested.
All right, county auditor requested.
Yes.
We don't care.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 2014-21 to amend appropriations.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Neil,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
I would need a motion to forgo the three reading rule, pass this as emergency, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Neil.
All right, at this time, I would need a motion, Kevin, if you would join us, please, to go into the executive session.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to show you some pictures first so I can get out of here before I do the executive session. It's a follow-up to what I brought up last month about the golf carts. You mentioned something about people riding on the sidewalks. I had some new committee members that gave me these, they wanted to take them to DOT, and I said, let's show them to you first. Some of them don't have SMVs on them either. Some that do are not, they're laying down. You mentioned something about them riding on the sidewalks.
Yes. Thank you. All right.
Excuse me, just a minute. Did you show those to the chief?
Pardon me?
Show those to the chief.
Like to see these?
I was getting ready to suggest that the chief contact Chief, you might let Steve know that the vehicles are gonna run around town, they need a slow moving sign down there so you can tell it's campers, and that they stay off the sidewalk. And we'll start with a verbal,
Warning.
A notice, more or less,
verbal
yeah.
notice first, please.
They actually have it in their handout that they give all the campers.
Do they?
Not to leave the park unless they have, well, the requirements, but they do, so.
Right.
Don't see too many of them, but occasionally you'll see some out there.
Right. Thank you, Chief. Okay, at this time, I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss employees' handbook and personnel policies, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mary Jane,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
Neil.
Yes.
James, will you be available for tax information after the meeting?
Tonight? No. My significant other goes to work in 20 minutes.
So we'll be there.
Yep.
I need a motion to come out of executive session, please. Is it rolling?
It's rolling.
I move that we adjourn the executive session and go back into regular session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Neil,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
With no other business, the next meeting will be a special meeting, and also you need to amend that special meeting to mention personnel policy, please,
Executive session.
in the executive session.